If you've ever tried hard to achieve success, only to realize that some things simply can't be forced, this video is for you. We're going to explore a philosophical concept that could transform the way you act and deal with life. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Once upon a time, there was a young farmer who was inspired by watching motivational videos. He absorbed concepts about the importance of effort, the culture of extreme productivity, and the philosophy of work hard, play hard later. After days immersed in this content, he went out to his farm determined to turn it into a great success. Full of enthusiasm, he tried to accelerate the growth of his crops by pulling the seedlings upwards, but this had no effect. He then decided to water the plants with twice as much water as usual, believing that this would speed up the process, but ended up drowning them. The farmer's insistence on forcing results made him realize that no matter how much effort he put in, going against the natural rhythm of things was a mistake. Humanity has advanced technologically, but it is still dependent on nature. There is a limit to what we can control, and our efforts need to be aligned with natural cycles. For example, we can't grow a plant while completely ignoring the laws of growth, even if we can influence them. Lao Tzu, author of the Tao Te Ching, said that the world regulates itself and doesn't need our constant intervention. As he wrote, "When you achieve non-action, nothing remains to be done." This thought is related to the paradoxical concept of Wu Wei. When trying to define Wu Wei, one realizes that there is no fixed interpretation. Some translate it as non-action, others as action without effort, or acting without forcing. Taoism presents multiple perspectives on how this concept can help us relate better to the world. This ancient art of allowing things to flow doesn't make us passive, but can actually improve our actions and lead to more effective results. The most common interpretation of Wu Wei is to act in harmony with nature, avoiding forcing situations and waiting for the right moment to act. Lao Tzu warned that using force leads to unexpected consequences. He wasn't just referring to physical force, but also to the act of trying to manipulate the natural flow of events. Nature takes its course, governing everything around us and sustaining our existence. Despite this constant movement of the universe, modern society places too much value on conscious effort, without considering its real effectiveness. We are encouraged to always be busy even without purpose. Like contemporary Sisyphus, we push stones uphill just for the sake of pushing. But making effort for its own sake is different from applying it intelligently. In some situations, hard work is necessary. In others, it's better to wait and act at the right time. The outcome of actions depends on the conditions and the context. Acting out of time is like trying to play a game without respecting its rules. Over time, we learn that forcing situations can result in failure, while allowing things to flow naturally tends to lead to spontaneous solutions. Returning to the young farmer, he should only have trusted the weather and the soil to nourish his plants. When harvest time came, then yes, he should act. As Lao Tzu said, "The Tao never acts with force, and yet nothing remains undone." The farmer's role is to plant, the plant's role is to grow, and when the time is right, the farmer must harvest. This is the natural cycle of things. Lao Tzu believed that the world cannot be rigidly governed because it already has its own order. Trying to control it is a waste of energy. Instead of fighting battles against nature, it is wiser to accept it and navigate according to its flows, like water that adapts to the contours of the ground. The practice of Wu Wei involves letting go of expectations and forced efforts. Applied to everyday situations such as a romantic encounter, this principle helps us to avoid unnecessary anxieties. Many people over-prepare for a date, rehearse lines and try to impress, which leads to nervousness and artificial behavior. Zhuangzi explains that attachment to the result can distort our actions and make us insecure. If the aim is to please, any sign of failure affects us deeply. But if we go into an encounter without expectations, just living in the moment, we will act naturally and authentically. The concept of Wu Wei is also linked to ego and detachment. Society shapes our identity based on experiences, beliefs and ideologies, but this can limit us. The ego, by filling in gaps with prejudices and assumptions, prevents us from seeing reality as it is. People with very firm convictions find it difficult to accept different perspectives and become trapped in their own ideas. Lao Tzu suggests a return to a purer state, which he calls an uncarved block of wood. This state represents a mind free of dogma and open to possibilities. The philosopher Huiling Chong describes Wu Wei as a way of acting from internal clarity, allowing a natural response to events. Wu Wei therefore doesn't just mean surrendering to the flow of nature, but requires the courage to abandon limiting assumptions and beliefs. As Lao Tzu wrote, "Renounce knowledge and all your problems will disappear." This approach allows us to live more lightly, acting at the right time without unnecessary resistance, and becoming part of the natural rhythm of the universe. In this way we flow. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel.